Hi friends, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting life. Today is quilting Dresden idea number 5. This is the Dresden. It is a black, white, and gray one. And you can see there is already chalk marks on it because I wanted to do that off screen. So I chalked out the border to do something specific in the border. So I am just gonna get started. I am quilting on my King Quilter 2 Elite Special Edition machine. It is an 18-inch machine on a 12-foot frame. Today I'm using Glide Thread Cool Gray. It's a really nice color and blends well with the black, white, and gray here. And I'm going to be using the little slim ruler, the Creative Grid Slim Ruler by Angela Walters, because this one I can get around more, and since up here in this section it's kind of close, you know, to the edge, I can't really use the bigger rulers next to the red snappers. So here we go. We're gonna just drop thread within my throat space, and I'm gonna stitch around this first, around the stitch in the ditch. I'm stitching at 10 stitches per inch in precision mode. I'm going to start by stitching in the ditch and hope not to disturb my chalk lines, and then come back around when I'm stitching in the ditch, and then go from chalk line to chalk line from the other side back to this side. So here we go. And the same goes with this piece as well as with the red ones. I'm not stitching in the white areas, which would be what you would call sashing, or the first border on this, because these are just wall hangings. But it does give you sashing ideas. That is why I've been quilting these in the videos. Quilting the the borders too, because that could be a sashing idea. Something to go along with the whole quilt, and the idea of, like, with the centers of the Dresdens going out with the borders and everything kind of blending together. Pretty much just videos of ideas. You can apply them to anything other than what's in the Dresdens themselves. So now I am within my throat space, and I'm going to come right here to this first notch, and I'm going to line up, and you can see my chalk mark over here. I'm going to stitch from this chalk mark to this chalk mark. Just like that. And then from this chalk mark to this chalk mark. And there goes my machine hitting my tray again. Oy, it's so annoying. Always on that backwards. And then from this chalk mark to the corner. And then from this corner up to this top corner. I know that makes no sense. I'm going to come over right here and just kind of go from here to there. And then when I come back to the corner, I'll go the opposite direction. From here to here. There to there. And hopefully my chalk marks stay the whole time. And I line the ruler up a 1/4 inch away from my chalk mark, so you can see, that way I can land exactly where I had wanted to in the first place. So I'm going to come up here to this corner, dive over to this corner, go from this corner to this corner. And continue on. And these darn things are always in my way. And it's like way far away too. I'm only quilting within my throat space, so I'll have to mark outside of my throat space. I'm gonna cut my starting thread off. And then come to here, and then I'm going to use my stitch in the ditch to go from these now here to there and so on and so forth, because I can't really do down from here down to this next one because it's not within my throat space. So then I'm just going to cross over and do these. And the sucky part is now I need to come down this original line and over to this corner because I'm not stitching down in there. Or I can just break thread and come right here, but I'm just going to stitch on this previous stitch line because that's what the rulers are for. This is for backtracking. Come over to this corner now and go the other way. And I'll have to do that in the other corner as well when I get to it. So I'm here at this corner, but I need to be up at this corner. So I'm just going to go back over what I just sewed and come to this corner now and cross over like that, and then continue on. Just like this. And I should be able to get this last one because it's within my throat space. Just like that. So now I'm going to stitch in this sections on the side. So I'm going to go like this, come back and forth. So I'm just going to do back and forth lines like this, leaving this empty, use this ditch to come up here and do that. And then I'll do it all across the whole entire top. So I'm going to just use my ruler for this, and you'll watch. That's pretty sure there's probably a name for this, but I don't know it off the top of my head. So get to the center. Right here, and then I'm going to repeat. So if you could see my stitches sort of right here, they're hard to see, but it's going to make the triangles that I created, or diamonds I would say, I guess, that I created pop out some. So I'm just coming to my previously quilted line. Up to this one, repeat the process. Come up to this one and repeat the process. So you can see these pop out. So So you can see I pushed that down so that this can pop out. So I'm going to continue doing that all the way across, and I'm going to put you in fast forward for the process. Quilting usually works better with a thicker loft fabric, but you guys could see what it's doing. And when it's hung up and the light kind of faces it and shadows off of it, you will see that it pops those out. You can see, like right here, you can see the way the light hits it from behind. You can see it helps those pop out. So I'm going to continue doing those all the way down, but first we're going to get to here, and I'm going to stitch around the gray in the Dresden within my throat space now. And I'm going to do this first, and then I'm going to advance the quilt just a little bit and then get started on more areas. I'm going to start off going around this, because stitching in the ditch is quite important. At least for projects like this. Again, I'm only stitching within my throat space, in the ditch. I'm going to just tie off right here. Pull up my bobbin thread, snip away, and now I'm going to advance it so that I have the gray section in my throat space. Due to the area that I only have in my throat space, what I'm going to do is I am going to start by, if I could find my ruler, there, I left it right there. I'm going to come out 1/4 inch away from my Dresden, and I am going to drop my needle, pull up my thread, tie it off, and I'm going to line up my ruler around the edge of the Dresden and stitch all the way around, again within my throat space, because I kind of can't do anything else in any other manner. So I'm going to come out where I'm past the Dresden like this, come to the edge of the Dresden, turn it. I think I did this in number 1. The going around the Dresden part. So I always stop where the edge of my foot lands at the edge of the previous, of the block. So I'm just going like this. And I can see where the foot lines up with the edge of the block. So this way I can see the edge of the foot right here with the edge of the block. Sometimes I go a little too far. It's accidental. It's not, nothing's perfect. No precision in this. And again, I'm only going within my throat space, which is going to make this a little bit more challenging to complete. Oops, I went too far. And that is my throat space. And what I'm going to do, because it's so close to the edge right here, I kind of want to take advantage of that, because I am going to pop a couple stitches later on that. But I'm going to come over here to this edge in this seam, stitch in it real quick, and you're going to see what I'm going to do. So I'm going to stitch down And I am going to use this ruler to line up on that 1/4 inch line. So there's a 1/4 inch line, which makes it a 1/2 inch away. And I'm going to follow that to about right here. If I need to adjust, I will. Right here. And again, if I need to adjust to where that lines up. Just like that. And I'm going to leave the needle down right here so I can get rid of my stitching from starting the stitch. It kind of got itself a little wrapped up in there, but that's okay. I'm just going to follow this, and I could see right here, if my foot lands between these two lines, you know, on the ruler, then I know that's a good place to stop, because then my next line will line up with that. So I'm just going to stitch up to it, you know, and that should be far enough to be a 1/4 inch away, which is a 1/2 inch away, you know. So I'm about right there. When I turn it, it should land right where I want it. And like if I need to go just a smidge further, I hold the ruler at it and just kind of push it where it needs to go. About right there. Line it up. I'm about right here. This one is going to come around the edge, out this way, come back a stitch or two. So we use the ditch often when doing something like this, because our block or our design is bigger than our block. So again, just lining it up, kind of eyeballing more than anything, you know, that when I turn the ruler it's going to land where I want it to. So about right there. After a while you get used to the eyeballing things. Kind of like when we eyeball our 1/4 inch seam. It's pretty much the same thing. And I'm out of thread, so give me a second to put a bobbin in. Okay, nice fresh bobbin. And let's get back to it. So I'm stitched about right there. Turn it. About right there. Turn it. Maybe go a stitch or two over, using the ruler to push it. And this one's going to end right here, so I might as well stitch in the ditch while I'm on this side. Come back up in it, and I'm going to come, instead of continuing right here, because this is not in my throat space, like I said, that's why I start the way I do. I'm going to do the same process now, but the opposite direction. So I'm going to come about right there. One more stitch. Turn it. It's going to end. So instead of coming back again, I'm just going to go ahead and fill this little area in. So it's going to come about right here and right there, just like that. That way that's done and I don't have to worry about it. So I'm again come here. I want it to stop about right there, maybe a stitch over, come up, come over, and now that you got the idea of what I am doing here, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward the rest of it, because you can see I'm echoing around the Dresden. now on to the center circle and the Dresden. So I backed it up a little bit, so obviously all the stuff that I just did, I haven't completed around here, but I'll get to that. But we're gonna work on the Dresdens and my center circle. So I'm going to stitch around the center circle. I'm gonna grab a ruler for that. Let's see, is that one too big? Some of these just aren't the right size. I guess I can do it with this one, the Versatool, because it's a Versa size. Kind of fits all the sizes as long as you adjust it as you go. So let's go around this first. I'm just gonna stitch around the edge of it. And then when I get to say start point again, I think I'm going to just spiral in and out of this, because I think that will look cool. So I'm going to start by just stitching around the Dresden. I have it within my throat space. So we're going to get to right here. Adjust the ruler. Oops. Obviously I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. Adjust the ruler as I go because it's not the right size. I'm gonna stop right here, snip my starter thread off, and then I'm gonna continue the rest of the way to my starter point, which is about right here. And then I'm gonna go from here. I'm going to create as big of a circle as I can on the inside and then come out of it. And it's just going to be a nice big swirl. Why? Because I can. So here we go. Let's see if I can do this nicely. And I kind of want to go in right there. Exit right there again. There we go. So, oh, it's hard to see, but there is a big spiral there, and I came in my starting point and kind of crossed over it where it met together just to continue around on the other side, because I didn't go as wide on my way in, which I should have, but that's okay. So now on to the Dresdens. I was thinking continuing the spiral by doing a spiral in right here, and they face inward, and then take and treat the second one as a spiral outward. So again, like the last video I just did in video in video 4, sorry about that, I did feathers and I treated them in parts of 2. Well, I'm thinking doing the spiralies in parts of 2. So one side will go one direction and the other side will go the opposite direction. So I'm going to start off with, we're going to move myself, I'm just going to use this ruler. I'm going to come over here because I have these at the points. So I'm going to treat these two over here, these further ones, as 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and so on and so forth. So let's take this around. So right here, and every time I finish 2 of them, so I'll come up here and come down, do this side, cross over, come down, if that makes any sense, so that I can stitch around the outside of the Dresdens as well. So here we go. Let's see how this plays out. So I'm going to come in. And I end right here at the top, and then I'm going to stitch over, stitch down, and now these ones are going to go the opposite direction. So those first ones went in, these ones are going to go outward. then again, I can backtrack because I hit this, or I can stitch around the whole entire thing later when I'm finished. So I'm going to come down this seam now and stitch on here. And this fabric right here has metallic in it, so I have to watch my stitching because it sometimes skips stitches in metallic fabrics. So now I'm back to the facing me spirals, so I will come out like this towards me, towards me, and I didn't have no skip stitches in that one, so that was a plus. And now these ones are going to go outward since these ones came inward. So now I'm just going to, like I said, I'm treating them as if every two was one. So they're going to go opposite directions. To the top point and stitch in the ditch. In the ditch. I've told you guys several times, I am not a good in the ditch stitcher. So now these ones, so these go opposites, so now the next two are going to go opposites. So again, towards me. Stops up here, and I will stitch around the whole entire Dresden when I am complete. So now this one is going to go outwards, so like this. Stop right here at the top. Notice they go from small to big, back to small again to fit in the point. And it doesn't have to fill the whole entire thing. You don't have to go from edge to edge of your spirals. So I'm going to stitch back down the center seam. And then I'm going to continue on. So this one is going to go towards my right hand, and this one's left hand. Right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. So that's how it's going to go. So let's fast forward this so you can watch me stitch the whole entire Dresden. now that I have done all that, the only thing left to do is remark all my marks. And mark the bottom because I haven't done that yet. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And you can't see it, but I'm doing it. I'm marking the marks that I need. And all I have to do is mark the bottom. And then I will get started stitching on these. So if you want this as like a border or a idea, I'm just measuring over 2.5 inches. I had, they're 3-inch borders, but I marked over every 2.5 inches because I had 25 inches from one side to the other before this border. And so those 25 inches every 2.5 is 10 diamonds. And then my end ones are kind of almost not so square, and then these last ones right here, they're 3 inches on the corners, but it doesn't matter anyway because I'm actually doing the diamonds on the sides, so it creates the diamonds. So the top and bottom or side to side, it doesn't really matter. Everything is still in a diamond shape. So I'm going to go ahead and just stitch this out in. Okay, so that didn't work. I had a notification come through and it kicked it off, and I lost the footage of sewing those in. So all those are now quilted, and as you can see, that's how it ends. The lighting is different on the other side, so you really can't tell. But we're going to check over the whole entire thing, making sure that I stitched everywhere, and then I'm going to pull it off the frame. So I'm just going to leave you right here, and we're going to unsnap it and see if we got it all. So I'm just gonna slide through, making sure all that's stitched down. Both sides of those are stitched down. Those are all stitched down. Big spiral, all this is going around. I didn't miss any areas. You know, that thing where you back and forth, and you have to roll to get your throat space. It's hard to remember. For me at least, because I have a short-term memory. So I just go through and make sure before I pull it off that I've stitched everything. And you can see that my snappers have a hard time coming up under that bar. So yeah, everything is stitched down. There's a couple wobbly spots, but guess what? I don't care. I'm leaving it as long as I know I've stitched everything down. So the next step is to pull this off and show you what we got. Folks, there it is. And now you can see the diamonds coming out in the light like that from quilting them down. You can see the spirals in the Dresdens. You can see that I echoed all the way around it, which is very fun. And then those diamonds just kind of bring this border out because it was a pretty busy border in the first place. So that just gave it some texture. And if you use thicker batting doing something like that, that definitely makes it look even more better. More better, that's a great word. Anyway, so there it is. There's the reverse side. It's just some black and white and gray paisley fabric. You really can't see the quilting too much. I mean, you kind of can in the heavy areas, but from far away you would never know. This is pretty heavily quilted except for in the Dresden area, but there's a lot of back and forth. All right, so I thank you guys for watching. This was video 5 of the Quilting a Dresden idea. Again, you can take all these ideas that I'm giving you. You can put these in your sashings and in your borders, and then as well as quilting behind your Dresdens. So there it is. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next video.